for what people go through, but at the end of the day, jurors, for the most part, take their jobs very seriously, and the law will trump the emotion.
Well, speaking of the law, Jason Johnson, defense attorney, who's part of our fantastic panel this morning, these are the jury instructions. And as I was studying them, I was struck by one thing, that it's not just about, well, George Zimmerman is guilty if, George Zimmerman is guilty if. It's also he's not guilty if justifiable homicide. And that says the killing of a human being is justified and lawful if necessarily done while resisting an attempt to murder or commit a felony upon George Zimmerman. So you heard the defense attorney, Mark O'Mara, claim, and I don't know if this is true, but he claimed, well, if Trayvon Martin had survived, had lived, he would be charged with a felony, namely aggravated battery. So could they have that ringing in their ears, look at this sentence and say, well, then we have to find him not guilty?
Well, I got to tell you, first, I'm a political science professor. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not a defense attorney. But I'll tell you this.
He's a brilliant guy.
I got to be honest with you. I don't think so, because for all of the excellent things that the defense managed to do throughout this entire case, I don't think they ever really answered the question as to why Trayvon Martin would attack George Zimmerman. Both sides were really hamstrung by their inability to bring in the past of both of them. So I don't think this idea that Trayvon was the assaulter, I don't think that's ever been clear. I don't think the defense has ever been able to make that case. So I don't think that's what's ringing in their ear. I think they're really trying to decide right now, has the state made their case, and are they going to leave common sense out the door and go with the law, or do some combination of both?
Well, if I may ask a quick follow-up then, and I just want to, this is a very interesting, healthy debate that may mirror what the jurors have been talking about last night and again this morning. How do you explain the injuries on George Zimmerman?
Well, I think what's interesting is you ask the question, how did he get those injuries? You know, he obviously had a fight, and they were obviously fighting each other. Now, the question is, did it happen because he pushed Trayvon first? Did it happen because Trayvon saw him pull a gun? Did it happen because Trayvon just walked around and jumped 25 feet out of the bushes the way the defense has claimed? I think that's where this all kind of comes into play. And this is where what John Guy said in his closing was so interesting. He said, look, you know, I wish Trayvon was here to give his side of the story. So I don't think there's ever been any, I think the prosecution always made a mistake in trying to minimize the fight. But at the same time, who started it has always been something that the jury has to determine. I don't think either side has been able to effectively prove who actually initiated this conflict.
Okay, 3 hours, 31 minutes, or 33 minutes, 31 seconds is how long they've been deliberating. They're going to be back in the courtroom soon. 9 o'clock, continued deliberations. So, folks, don't go anywhere. What we're going to do, play the biggest moments from testimony, play the closings, talk to our experts about what to expect, get in the minds of the jurors, try to figure out what they're thinking, and get you ready for what's coming. 9 a.m., those jurors go back in that jury room and decide George Zimmerman's fate, and you're going to see it right here on HLN.
Stay right there. We're going to be back with more in just a second.
You the director.